Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate it. Um, if you're interested in supporting the channel in that way, please feel free to go over to patreon.com. Look up Engelgeist over there. You get the daily forecast a day early. You also get certain readings that are only available over there every month, depending on the subscription level that you choose. There's like a Cupid's Love reading, an Archangel message for the month, and also at the highest level, you get a free charming once a month, or a charming at any one of the charm nights. You can just drop in and pick up a charming every month. So that's available to you over on patreon.com. And again, thank you to everybody that supports me over there. It's a huge help, and I really, really appreciate your guys' support. This is the daily forecast. This is for, okay, now I'm a little confused. I got to look at the right calendar. This is for Thursday, right? Yeah, because today's the 13th. There's just not a day. I guess last night was the new moon, so there's not a date on my calendar. So today is for Thursday, January 14th. It is, it is a timeless message. It is for the highest good of the greater collective. Therefore, when you're seeing is when you're supposed to see it. It's not necessarily you have to only view it on the 14th of January. If you're watching it on a date where it's not January 14th, don't turn it off. It doesn't mean that it's not valid. It might still work for you, or have some information or validation for you within it. For those of you that are watching on the 14th, or at any point in time, really, you have to figure out where the creating best fits in your life, if it even applies to you. And from there, if you choose to make any decisions in your life, know that those decisions are your own and your responsibility. I'm not here to make decisions for anyone. I'm here to help assist, give maybe slight guidance, support, and validation through my readings. These are not here to make the decision for you. There's, quite a few viewers that are looking for readings to make the decisions for them. That's not the purpose of these, okay? So know that your decision is your responsibility. Never take anything that I say over the information or suggestions of a professional in their field, like a lawyer, a doctor, a therapist. I say this also just for everyone's protection, too. Always listen first and foremost to people that are, working in their field of work, okay? I know that sounds like basic information, but you'd be surprised, and it just protects not only you guys as viewers, but me also as a reader. What is the other thing I was going to say? If anything doesn't match up, if it doesn't seem to make sense, it doesn't seem to fit, that's completely fine. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with your life or that you're doing anything wrong. It just might mean that you might be working on something different than the majority of those that are going to watch this video are. Right? I believe that Spirit has a plan. Even our own higher self has a plan and is involved in a part of that. And so since we're all connected to that, there is a magic in this reading where it reaches you when it needs to. It reaches those that it needs to. If you're not, connecting to it, that's completely fine. Doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means you might need a different message today, or you're working on something completely different, and that's, exciting and acceptable and totally fine. So let's see what's going on in the cards today. See what they want us to know. Okay, that was a weird cut. That was like a really slight cut, but that's okay. Oh, so our card today is the Eight of Swords. Hi! All right, so swords is the element of air and the intellect. It can be contracts, it can be thoughts, it can be anything to do with the mind, anything that we can concoct and create with the mind. The eights to me always bring about a sense of balance, right? In the sense that we're trying to get things maybe back to a good place, right? Moving beyond anything that stands in our way. The Eight of Swords definitely would personify that. When you look at this woman, she feels a little bit bound up. I mean, not even feels, she is a little bit bound up. She has a blindfold on, so she can't necessarily feel as though she sees where her next path is or where her direction is. She's surrounded by those swords. And sometimes when I look at this card, it makes me think about how we can sometimes be surrounded by our fears, worries, and anxieties, and how those can become very palpable, real. Our fear of, maybe making the wrong decision or doing the wrong thing can freeze us up or make us feel as though we can't make a decision or we can't move in a certain direction because we're holding ourselves in place for fear of doing the wrong thing, right? So that's kind of the Eight of Swords definition, or how I view it. When I think about it, though, I do think about the eight being that level of balance, right? Where we get ourselves, hopefully, through going through this experience into a state of better balance, right? Understanding what is real and what is not, what is imagined and what is, actually really a obstacle or hurdle that we need to get beyond. The thing with the Eight of Swords is that she's surrounded by these swords, right? And she's aware of them. She doesn't quite know exactly where they are, maybe due to the blindfold, but there's always a way for her to walk away from them, either in front of her or behind her. There's always like sort of an opening in the sort of barrier that the swords create. And what I love about this particular card in this deck is that if you look just beyond the hillside there is a castle in the background, right? She may not be able to see it right yet. She may not be even able to know how to quite get there right yet, but it's there. So what that means to me is that there is a gift in all of this. There is an outcome here that is beneficial to us. That's also the eight's meaning to me. To me, that it's that harmony that comes, or that balance that comes in once we kind of get our brain or our heads in check, right? Not to say that we're out of check. We might be having healthy worries around, how do I want to say this? I don't want anybody to think that like worrying is a bad thing, right? Fear is a natural emotion, and fear is something that can keep us safe from dangerous situations that could harm us. Worry, though, unneeded worry, is something that will hold us down. It will tire us out. It will make us have a hard time seeing either the vision or the possibility of attaining whatever it is we desire, right? So some of you might be in that state where, are you feeling just unneeded worry? Are you fretting over things that like maybe you have no control over, or they're really not as big as you may think they are? It's that kind of an energy is the feeling that I get. And ultimately the eight states that we're going to work with these fears or these anxieties today, these worries, or they might be brought up to us by other people, mind you, right? They could be situations outside of our control, people, their behavior, unseen things that come up that kind of cause us to pause and go, oh shit, now what? But they're ultimately teaching us in some way. They're ultimately balancing us out. They're ultimately not forcing us, but like they're instigating, maybe is a good word. They're setting the tone for us to kind of take the blindfold off, actively untie ourselves, actively make a choice and be responsible for that choice. That's also the energy of a 7 card, which is right prior to the 8, right? We have to actively make that choice, or no matter what our fears or anxieties may be, right? So when I look at this, to me, that's what that speaks to. One second, let me just look at yesterday's cards. Sorry, I got a new... So we had that beautiful Ace of Swords yesterday. We had clarity, we had the Chariot, we had the 8 of Pentacles, which is putting our own work to it. Sorry guys, I just had to move that to look at my calendar underneath. Somewhere, I'm gonna say, my feeling is that we've gotten a little bit worried or confused about something, and that there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like the confusion will subside, or the desire will come clear at a certain point today. Don't let that get in your way. If anything, the challenges that this ace presents, in whatever way it presents itself to us, if that's through outside people or other situations, our own thoughts or fears or worries, it's an opportunity for us to strengthen our desire, to strengthen our purpose, to stay sort of on path, even if we feel like we might not be on the path at this time, or working towards the goal or able to make the choices. Today's the day where we do that work, or we do that reflection, and then we push ourselves a little bit, would be the feeling that I would get, okay? Let's see what the clarifiers are. Sorry, let me adjust that back so that we can see everything in there. Sorry, I got this new calendar, like desk calendar, to lay down on the desk. Thought it'd be easier, but it's actually kind of maybe not. All right, so let's see what the Eight of Swords has to say. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. We saw this earlier in the week. There is this opportunity that's being handed to us this week. Hopefully we know what this opportunity is. If we don't see it and feel it and desire it, we need to figure it out is kind of the feeling, because yesterday's cards were so on point and so lovely, right? So much, and everything is I keep going back to this grounding stone for the week, which is this idea of success. We saw this Ace of Pentacles at the beginning of the week. Something ideally is being handed to us. It may just still be an idea format right now. It might just be something where we've gotten the idea, the new beginning, the prospect of, ooh, if I do this, maybe this will happen in such and such area of my life. And I know that's vague, guys, but I try and leave it as vague as possible so that this reading works for as many of you as possible. Right? So wherever it is that something new has sprouted up, where there's an opportunity there, there's a desire, and it's for your benefit, it's for your own excitement, it should ideally stimulate enthusiasm. Some of you might feel a little bit perplexed as to how to go about chasing it, what changes you need to make to attain it, starting to take first steps towards going after it, but it's still on offer. That's the feeling. And like I said this earlier in the week, this Ace of Pentacles, whatever this is for us, if it's a new relationship, a new job, opportunities to make money, it's a little ways away from us. That's the mountain down in the bottom with the trellis, right? We have to follow that path a little bit to get ourselves there. And we might have to even do some work. We see this mountain here with the castle behind it, right? She's got some work ahead of her too. Not only does she have to get herself untied, able to see again, deal with all those swords, but you know, like ultimately, there's a deck that I've learned about called the After Rider-Waite or something, where it's cards afterwards. I wonder what her after card is, because the vision that I just got when I saw this is once she gets herself untied and gets that blindfold off her head, she can grab one of those swords and charge for that castle and kind of make shit happen. So ideally, that's what we want to do, or the perspective we want to keep with that success stone that we saw earlier in this week. And the success is being handed to us, ideally through this Ace of Pentacles, but we have to believe in it. We have to believe in ourselves too. And we have to, you know, there's no rush here. There's no worry here. I mean, there is in the Eight of Pentacles, but it's really, to me, it feels a little bit self-imposed or inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. The next card is the Seven of Pentacles. Again, lots of Pentacles energy, either with this deck or with this month. I really think this has to do with us going into a new year, setting our tone for the rest of the year to come. How do we make our money? How do we make our wealth? How do we create our abundance? These are things that we're probably focusing on. There was certainly a lack of that in 2020. You know, just emotional abundance, well-being, things like that were very tentative, right? Or they kind of swung back and forth with everything that we were dealing with. And we've become accustomed to sort of some of the changes that we faced in this world. And so I think now that we feel a little bit more accustomed and stabilized, it's about how do we go forward and begin to create. The Seven of Pentacles is hard work, right? He's sitting there staring at everything that he's done to create this bounty and this abundance. There is a little bit of a weight with the Seven of Pentacles, right? He's not quite ready to harvest just yet. He's not pulling it in, but he is aware of the work that he does and what he puts in and what it sort of reaps, like the benefits that it reaps, right? Again, that seven also will be about making conscious choices towards doing that work. Even if it's a little bit hard or arduous, we need to do that work to bring in whatever this goal is with this Ace of Pentacles. So keeping, again, to me, the Seven of Pentacles would indicate that staying focused on that success, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve or work towards, keeping focused on that success, even if you feel like you're being limited in some way, shape, or form at this time. Let's look at the last clarifier. I love it. So we have the Fool. Speaking of new beginnings in that Ace of Pentacles, the Fool represents the epitome of new beginnings. He's the beginning of the journey of the major arcana, right? He's also the sign of, I believe he's associated with the planet Uranus. And I've also heard that he's also associated with the sign of Aquarius. So Aquarius is very expansive, collective-minded, right? thinking of the greater good and the greater whole. When we look at him, he's sort of throwing caution to the wind. He's packed up everything he needs. He's willing to take the journey as we need to be, right? And I don't feel like with that Eight of Pentacles, we may feel completely free to do so at this time for a lot of you. That's fine. Staying focused on that hard work and the opportunities that are presented to us will lead us towards the energy of this Fool and the optimism, the exuberance, and the daring that it takes to go forward. Now, the thing with the Fool is that there's this fine line. This is how I interpret the Fool always. Because it's called the Fool, it's not necessarily bad to be foolish, right? Sometimes when we are being the Fool, it can represent being open-minded enough to make things happen, to allow new beginnings to unfold, to take risks that actually pay off in very big ways. We have that sun beaming down on him, right? So he is blessed in a certain way. But there's also the aspect of the Fool that it's like, be careful, you're walking next to a cliff, right? Are you looking where you're stepping? Are you being smart and wise? And there's a blend with the Fool where you want to be open and available and seek that opportunity, right? Seek the abundance that's out there and chase after it. But you also want to be sort of grounded enough that you're not putting yourself in sort of harm's way. I don't think that there's any harm's way here at all. What I do think is I think that the harm might be the fear or the anxieties that we might have, or the limitations that are placed on us around us through situations we don't feel as though we have control over. That would be like outside people or, events that are holding us back in that Eight of Swords energy, right? Where we're feeling tied, this could be very simple as some of you might feel like, oh, I can't right now because my kids need me, or they're homeschooling and I have to deal with that, right? It could be something like that where it is a responsibility that you have to deal with, that you have to navigate, that you're still adjusting to and getting used to, both you and the family. And so you're putting things off. That's okay. I don't get the sense that this Ace of Pentacles means that it's going away anytime soon. But there is an opportunity here through hard work and the optimism of the Fool and the power of the Fool of being willing to take the journey that will lead you to this success, that will lead you to this maybe new chapter, or and this new chapter can be in a multitude of arenas in all of your different lives, okay? So let's look at the grounding stone for today. And I will say this, whatever we're working on through this Eight of Swords energy, it's going to make it all the more sort of strong, stable, and powerful ultimately in the end when we do decide to step forward. So don't rail on yourselves or feel bad because you might feel a little stuck or worried. It's okay. Just work your way through that worry and know that you're okay. So here is the grounding stone. It's on Tiger's Eye. So this is a thought or an idea, a principle to sort of ground in today. And this idea is generosity. And where I see generosity in this, I see generosity through all of the clarifiers, to be honest. I see generosity in that Ace of Pentacles. I see generosity of work and, putting in hard work and acknowledgement of that hard work that we put forth in the Seven of Pentacles. I also see sort of like an openness and a generosity in the Fool, right? That's that Aquarian energy of wanting everything the best for everybody involved and going after it, right? Open-hearted and free. Look at his stance. He's wide open. So to me, where can we be generous with ourselves? Where can we be kinder to ourselves? If we are beleaguered or grappling with doubts or fears, anxieties, or situations that feel limiting, where can we relieve ourselves? Not of these situations, but find that relief and be generous and kind to ourselves to get ourselves focused back on that success of whatever it is that we do want, that whatever it is we might be dealing with, it's ultimately only temporary, and actually it's here to probably strengthen us in our journey and in our experience in the long run. When I look back at because I have all of the grounding stones out here on my desk so I don't pull them a second time during the week, the words, I'm just going to recite them to you again, is success, wisdom, love, and passion, right? These are powerful words that they're asking us to ground in this week. These are very extremely positive takes on what it is that we should be focused on or grounding in and making our primary purpose at this time. Generosity would be, where can we be generous first and foremost with ourselves around these sort of principles? Know that it's out there for you. That's really the feeling that I'm getting from these cards today. I hope that you guys are able to pursue it with, as much ability as you can muster at this time. If you do feel limited, do not get down on yourself. Just keep moving through it, keep dealing with it, talk to a friend about it, talk to, a trusted source about it. You will find your way through this, I promise. And new beginnings are coming, right? So that is your forecast for the day. Please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. You can see me here every day. I'm here to chat with everyone. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.